Hey everybody, welcome to a live edition of A Week in Geekdom. Geo here, and today I just wanted to do another, Fable Fridays, as I've been doing for the past couple months, talking about the Vertigo series, uh, Fables. Right here we have Book 5, ladies and gentlemen, with the creative team right there, Bill Willingham, Mark Buckingham, Steve Lealoha, David Hahn, and Lan Medina. So, yeah, welcome everybody to Fable Fridays. Typically, it's supposed to be once a month, but a set of hiatuses has forced me to do two a month. So, you will be seeing book six pretty soon. I'm going to speed run through the whole series as soon as I'm able to. But we're here to talk about book five. So, this is really cool. When I was reading book four, and I mentioned it in my previous video, that we were finally, I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but I thought of it. It counts, I guess. We were finally getting payoffs to the connective nature of the story, but I feel that thought applies more to book five because a lot of the stories that happen here really set the story forward. A lot of them previously in the first four deluxe editions, deluxe hardcovers, were more about a setup of characters, story arcs, relationships between the characters, and all that fun stuff. But here we're starting to see that payoff. And of course, moving the series along in an intense manner. We begin with the story of Jack B. Nimble. Although I guess I should mention that this hardcover covers issues 34 to 45 of Vertigo series, containing the storylines Jack B. Nimble, Homelands, and Arabian Nights, parentheses, and Days, end parentheses. So, yeah, okay. So we begin our story with, or our book, I should say, with Jack B. Nimble. Basically, you have Jack traveling to Hollywood to set up his own film production studio and become a household name. And he wants to create movies based off of his adventures, but not necessarily name them after or do them 100% accurately to his stories. But that really presents a problem because you're exposing the fables to the Mundies on a massive scale. It's one thing for a human character to find out about one individual, but to have a movie where everybody finds out about these characters is pretty bad. So, by the way, I do have to mention I did put it in the disclaimer, but for the title for the episode, I should say, not the disclaimer. Here's the disclaimer: there's a lot of spoilers in this video, so if you have not been keeping up to date with my videos, and if you've never read Fables, and if you've never read Fables, sorry, do turn away, read those first four books, and then come back to this video. I'm going to spoil pretty much the entire book and what I thought of it. But yeah, you've been warned. So, the main thing about Jack B. Nimble and that storyline is that, like I mentioned, Jack goes to make his own film studio and sort of expose his story to the masses. And if I remember correctly, all these fables are really empowered and sort of immortal because of our ability to remember them and to talk about them through the stories that we know and love about these characters, because they're timeless. They're going to be around for forever, for the rest of humanity's existence. We will always cherish and tell these stories to the newer generation. So I like that meta commentary on these beloved characters and how it fuels their immortality, basically. So if you have a movie based off of Jack Fables and his uh, adventures and all that stuff, even if it's exaggerated, he's gonna be like extremely powerful, I would think, or his longevity will be bigger than the rest of the characters. But regardless, without going too much into detail, in this story, he does facilitate Jill's escape, and Jill's the one that ends up betraying Jack and calling Beast over because of what's happening. Jill obviously is tiny; she can't revert to regular size, and once that whole mess is dealt with, because Jack is pretty sleazy when it comes to the whole Hollywood biz. I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of the character. When Beast arrives, he is pretty upset and informs him like, "Hey, you really aren't supposed to be doing this." So he really does set back the community for a long time, and basically what ends up happening is that Jack is forced to retire, and all the profits go back to Fabletown and the characters. So once that happens, here's the really cool part: is that we learn, or I learned when I was reading this, that this is actually far in the future, 5 years into the future, where we left book 4 off. So a lot of stuff has happened. You don't really understand what's going on. And at the end, or at the beginning of the next story arc, which is Homelands, it says, let's go back 5 years prior to find out what has been happening in Fabletown and all that fun stuff, which leads into my favorite part of the whole book, Homelands, covering issues 36 to 38, and I believe 40 and 41. And it's basically Boy Blue's mission to infiltrate by himself, basically, or so we're led to believe, with a couple mystical or magical items. He's going to infiltrate the homelands with the idea of assassinating the adversary and restoring peace, and of course finding out the truth about Red Riding Hood, because you might remember on the previous stories before Volume 5, we thought Red Riding Hood had escaped and she was in the human world with us, but it turns out it was Baba Yaga, a clone of Red Riding Hood disguised, made by Baba Yaga, stuff like that. So it wasn't really the real one. So he wants to find out where she is, if she's still being held captive and all that stuff. What opens is pretty interesting, and I'm going to show off some of the art later, but I do want to show off this part because I thought it was hilarious. First off, the art in the Jack B. Nimble stuff, I didn't really like that much. I know I like to complain about the art when it comes to these book reviews, but I wasn't a huge fan of it. It works, I guess. It is what it is. Here's the reveal with Beast. Not necessarily the most detailed art, in my opinion. Looks a little bit too flat and plain, not enough shadows, and I don't know, just didn't really dig it. I like the story a whole lot, but not this. I was accustomed to, of course, Mark Buckingham's art, which we see here in the second story arc with Homelands. Death and Taxes. This was so interesting to me. You have these two, I want to say they're orcs, or ogres. Sorry, they're ogres. You have these two ogres right there, and they're just collecting taxes in their town, and they're going over to all the houses with the humans that are still, or the Fable human-like characters, collecting taxes and just talking about day-to-day stuff that's happening between them. There's a rumor of this night warrior or something, like a boogeyman that's stalking the fields and taking people out, or taking their comrades out, I should say. And it turns out to be Boy Blue himself, dressed up like a costumed superhero, which was really cool. Reminded me of Zorro a little bit, Legend of Zorro. And I love this. The two ogres, you don't like them. They're not supposed to be likable, but I really enjoyed their conversations, even though they do some bad things. It was fascinating to get their perspective on things, sort of the man on the ground, if you will, and how they are complaining because one of them has a human for a partner, and she's trying to feed him, I believe it was chicken, And the ogre's like, this is extremely disgusting. I do not get human customs at all. Stuff like that I thought was pretty fascinating. So yeah, our boy Blue here just turned out to be an utter badass and started hacking away and killing everybody and making his way towards high-ranking generals, and he's able to copy them and infiltrate the different areas. So that leads him to a portal with a really cool fight with a dragon, and sort of you continue his journey along until he is able to venture into the one of the main towns where the adversary is holding this meeting, I guess, with all the complaints from the high-ranking officials and citizens. You see the really long-ass line right there, which was really interesting. And the design for which you kind of see in the slipcover right here. The design for the adversary is pretty cool. It reminds me of Ares from DC Comics, the Wonder Woman stuff from George Perez. Really Greco-Roman inspired, I want to say. Really interesting stuff. Basically, uh, the assassination attempt occurs in a really badass scene, and our boy is able to chop off the head. Turns out this was the big reveal of the whole friggin' book. As he's trying to escape, he gets captured by the enemy, and we find out who the main adversary is. However, we do take a break in between the book to do a meanwhile issue 39, where we go back and see what's happening during this time where Blue is attempting to assassinate the adversary. So we find out that Mowgli has made it to the Fabletown area, and for some reason, when I first started reading Fables, I completely ignored the fact that a lot of the other Fable characters from other areas were like different pockets of universes, I guess. They're not like super connected to each other because you have the Arabian fables and you have the Asian stuff and Africa and all that. I assumed everything was kind of more put together, you know. But no, they're in different areas. And when the adversary's empire army is crossing over from um, uh, universe to another realm, or whatever, realm to realm, I should say, it takes them a while. And they're advancing their troops slowly but surely and conquering as much land as they can, but it does take them a while. So that was really cool. It really does help on the whole world building aspect and makes it a much more fulfilling experience because you're getting to see the scope of what the bad guys are really trying to do and just how big of a task it is for our main heroes to combat the enemies. So that's always great. So we do find out about all that stuff happening in Fabletown, and then we go back and realize that the let's see if I can show you guys. Oh, there's something really important that happens here, which I will talk about in a couple of minutes. But we go back. Where is this? Oh, here it is. Let me make sure I'm highlighted properly with the book here. He's only a bird in a gilded cage. We find out that it is actually a giant puppet for the adversary, and the real identity is none other than Geppetto, which surprised the hell out of me. I was not expecting that. And when I read it, I'm like, really? Geppetto? Okay. But the more I thought of it, the more I liked the idea, because to me at least, the core of Fables is more about it's very noir inspired with its themes of mystery, of an ongoing mystery and character solving different scenarios and whatnot, different cases. So, what better to have a puppet master controlling things from behind the curtain, behind the scenes? It's really befitting and really breaks the trope of just having a huge overlord type villain. You have much more of a conspiracy noir aspect to the story. So yeah, after giving it some thought, I'm like, all right, I can get behind it. I don't mind him being the puppet master behind everything. And the fact that it started for a very, for them it was noble, but really it's not, for a very noble reason, that they're trying to replace shady characters with real life puppets infused with fairy magic from one of the fairies. I forgot her name, but essentially, they're bringing these puppets to life and replacing the people on board the um, the government, and eventually it just gets out of hand. Everybody wants to do it, and they form sort of the secret cult of people running the government behind the scenes. And Geppetto basically just steps away from the whole thing and is running things from the shadows. And even the bad guys, they see the Ares looking dude, and they see him as the leader. And when Boy Blue chops off his head, they have to kill everybody that was a witness from their own team, basically, which was extremely shocking and harsh. But from their perspective, I guess it had to be done. They don't want to bring down this illusion of this godlike character of the adversary. So we have some really interesting conversations. We do get Geppetto's origin, I guess, and how he did what he did, and how he started his scheming with all the other noble people and all that stuff, and how the was it the blue, yeah, the blue fairy, how he robbed her of her power to constantly be producing lifelike human dolls. That was really creepy and kind of sadistic and all kinds of wrong. Here is the panel that I'm referring to, which just looks really creepy. And of course, we do find out at Boy Blue's request, sorry, to for them to fetch the original Red Riding Hood. Turns out she doesn't know what's up. She doesn't know him because she's been cloned or duplicated a couple times. So what Boy met was actually a duplicate of her. So she doesn't really know him and doesn't have that emotional connection. He One of the booby traps that he had with the cloak turns out to be Pinocchio. He was slain in the previous battles with the dolls in Fabletown. So he was basically just scheming with Prince Charming to do this, and use Pinocchio as a bait so he could have an upper hand. And it actually works in his favor, even though it's his best friend. Uh, he sets him loose and is able to escape with Red Riding Hood. Pinocchio unfortunately stays behind with his father, and they reconcile and they meet up again. And it's really touching to see the two of them together, but it's not that endearing when you realize what his father has been doing. So yeah, there's that. And as the story progresses, let's see what else I can mention here. By the way, this was probably one of my favorite panels from the fifth volume, Pax Imperium. We see all the this dialogue between the two characters was great. And back at Fabletown, I'm going to go back here for a second. We have the character of this guy. I forgot his name. Shoot, the one of the keepers in the desk of Fabletown. What is this guy's name? I am totally forgetting. Yeah. Well, thank goodness we're live, right? Because I totally forgot this guy's name. John. Trusty John. There we go. Trusty John. We unfortunately find out that Trusty John has been a spy for the adversary, and he's got to be put down. So they're going to shoot him down the magical well, but he's got the option of jumping in voluntarily or them taking him down and dumping his body. And in one of the creepiest visuals from Fable so far, he says, "You made a mistake, Prince Charming. You should have never have let me go in alive. I'll come back someday and I'll be the first to find a way out of the witching well. So this was extremely creepy and badass. I love this scene, really haunting, and I'm pretty sure we're going to be talking about this at a later video once again. So the plan for the Fables is, of course, to bring Bigby back, and Mowgli's going to be an integral part in making that happen. Later on in the series, basically to summarize this overview of Book 5, Boy Blue is able to escape. And let's, where's the scene? Yeah, so he's able to escape with Red Riding Hood because they were going to chase her down regardless. So now that he's back, everybody's a little bit weary because the only thing they know about Red Riding Hood is that she betrayed them on the previous book, I think was book 3, and with the Battle of the Dolls and stuff. So now the final arc in this hardcover is Arabian Nights and Days, where you have the delegation of the Arabian Fables led by Sinbad. They visit Fabletown and they're trying to make an alliance against the adversary because the adversary and the empire is currently invading the Arabian territory. So they get off to a terrible start because they don't understand the language and the cultural differences and all that stuff. And Sinbad's advisor, I forgot his name. I think it was Yusuf or something like that. I might be mistaken. He is very he's a very rash dude, and just right out of the gate, like they keep slaves and they got their genies, and it's a very different lifestyle. And the Fables of Fabletown do not approve of this, so there's a culture clash and very heated arguments. Basically they're going to try and ease things out, and eventually they do, but not before Yusuf, and I gotta check because I'm probably butchering that name. If you guys know watching and can let me know, because I am terrible with names, character names. Regardless, he brought a genie with him and sets him in motion. Genies are, I think it was described in the book, like 97% whole magic. So they're extremely powerful tools that have been used. And you can see right there how great that looks. I love these 2 pages. He's going to kill all the opposing parties for Sinbad, the Arabian delegates and stuff. So Sinbad is the top choice to lead, I think that was, and then the second wish was to kill everybody on Fabletown, and 3 to gain more power. I can't. You're gonna have to forgive me on that because I forgot the third wish. Let's see. Oh, the third wish is thus: you will increase me in riches and women, in personal sorceries, until I am satisfied and command that I am sated. Yeah. And the second one is to return and slay Sinbad, Prince Charming, and King Cole, which turns out Cole understands the language and can speak it, and is the ambassador, if you will, for Fabletown, and discussing things with Sinbad, and form a really nice friendship between the two. Obviously, our boy here is does not agree with that and wants to get rid of everybody and basically take command. So part of that storyline, obviously from the political tension and them trying to destroy the genie and revert the potential damage, because it could set everything back if the genie is able to kill everybody and weaken Fabletown and all that stuff. So that was really exciting. I really enjoyed that aspect of the sort of the conversations and seeing the different cultures and the different characters interact between normally these characters wouldn't be together. So it was really awesome to see Sinbad next to Prince Charming and them talking about how they do things. And of course, Arabian royalty is very different from the concept of Fabletown and, living in New York and the upper class status with the penthouses and all that stuff. It was very interesting. So at the end of the book, Basically, to summarize and give you my final thoughts on Fables 5, uh, they're able to defeat Yusuf. And again, correct me if I'm wrong on that name. That's the name I'm sticking with because I can't find the name right now as I'm looking through the pages here. They defeat him and the genie, and they're able to come to a compromise. They free the slaves, and uh, Boy Blue, for his crimes of stealing all the artifacts and risking Fabletown, is sent to the farm. And in the farm, it turns out he's going to have a pretty cool lifestyle because Rose Red over there is not going to demand a whole lot as people are thinking because, oh, capital punishment, you have to work at the farm, exiled there. But it's not so bad. Obviously, Red Riding Hood has to stay in Fabletown, and there's also this really interesting subplot about the relationship between Beauty and the Beast. There's a flirtatious event that happens with Prince Charming and Beauty, and really does put a question mark on the relationship between these two characters. And her resolve is somewhat deepened when she rightfully neglects and denies Prince Charming his of his ways, I guess, and sort of we're reminded of how loving these two characters are, even if they've been squabbling since the start of the series. So that was interesting. And finally, let's see if I'm forgetting anything. The way they take down the genie, by the way, they use counter magic and all that stuff. Oh yeah, it was Yusuf. Oh right, good job, Gio. Uh, so this was really, really badass. I love that he was going to be eaten and tortured slowly until he's dead, which is horrific if you think about it. But here we have some more of that glorious artwork from Buckingham. Really awesome stuff. And that's sort of where the book ends. This is more of a quick overview, but at the end, Cole is going to be the official ambassador, I guess, for Fabletown in the Arab lands. And it turns out it's set in Baghdad, but they have a portal to the actual homeland for the Arab folk. And you see it right there looking pretty spectacular. Really wonderful art. The colors on this, they're just fabulous. And oh, I did forget to mention that a friendship starts to form between Flycatcher and Red Riding Hood, and hopefully it develops into something more. That'd be pretty cool to see, because man, Flycatcher, he's one of my favorites, but he deserves a break if you know his backstory. So a lot of political intrigue and movement between these characters as they're trying to one up the adversary that now we know is not this behemoth looking thing and is more of a conniving old man creating puppets in the homelands. So I thought that was really fantastic. The art varies. Unfortunately, the Jack in Hollywood storyline, I liked the story, but I did not like the art whatsoever. And I do know that is the beginning where it spins off into the Jack of Fables series, which eventually I'm not going to cover in these videos of Fable Fridays, but eventually I will do a full series review for that. If you are interested, let me know, because yeah, that's some extra reading I have to do when it comes to Fables. So overall, really enjoyed it. The art was somewhat hit or miss. Most of it I did like. I'd love seeing Snow's kids a little bit more grown up, and I can't wait to see Bigby back in the story, and of course all the political intrigue of Fabletown and what they're doing, not only to defeat the adversary, but keep everything afloat. Prince Charming's having a terrible time controlling everything, but he's working towards something. And obviously, Boy Blue was the star of the whole book, and just how badass he was. I love that part so much. It felt very superhero-ish in this book. It really, really dug that part. So yeah, that is more or less what I think of Fables Book 5, sort of an impromptu review slash overview, I guess, for the deluxe edition. How about you guys? Did you enjoy Fables, the fifth part, I guess? And I know these books are a little bit hard to find. I know. I think it's four, 6, and 7, something like that. So that sucks. I really do wish these were evergreen and in print, because this is my preferred way to read them instead of the singles or trades or that compendium that's coming out. But if you can't if you can't get the deluxe editions, then I do suggest picking up the compendium. I'm usually one reader that I don't shy away from owning what is accessible. Now, I don't necessarily go for the big collected edition, but in the case of Fables, I do like how nice these hardcovers look, and also this image. These images, man, they look so fantastic and beautiful. I love them, especially this one. So yeah, thank you, thank you everybody. I see a couple of my followers here on YouTube. That is awesome. John, thank you for tuning in. I think this is your first time on my channel where I'm actually live, so that's really cool. Thank you so much, man. Gary loves Fables. Hayden, Geo live 2 days in a row. We've been blessed. 2020 is saved. Yeah, I'm so sorry that I took a really weird break when it came to Fables. Internet issues, real life issues, and just overall craziness just bundled up together, and I couldn't do them in time. And I had to split 4 and 5 into 2 separate videos. So, and I think I mentioned in the book 4 review that I was going to do the 6 and 7, I guess, at the end of September. I don't know about that. I think I'm going to do them much earlier because I want to get through this and finish off the Fable Fridays as soon as possible, because I've got more stuff to read and do for the channel. I can't be stuck here with 15 books of one series. I got to speed things up. So expect probably book 6 in about maybe 2 weeks from now or something like that, the next installment. And I will try and post it in time, because I did not announce that I was going live. So that sucks, because I would have liked a lot of people to tune in, but I was pretty busy and I couldn't get around to it. But yeah, 2 weeks, I think, from now, if anything, if everything goes right and there's no uh, real world issues that occur, I will be going live with book 6, and then the following week, book 7. And then I take another break, and then in October, we'll continue with 8 and 9, all that stuff. So, yeah. John, oh, you were commenting earlier about the Hollywood story. I bet Jack didn't have good licensing attorneys. Probably. Haven't read Fables, but this has got me intrigued enough to buy it. I hope you didn't mind me spoiling things, as I revealed the identity of the main bad guy. So please don't hate me for that. I tried warning at the beginning, and I put the spoilers tag on it because I myself don't like spoilers. So I know I know a lot of people appreciate when you warned that there are going to be spoilers. So yeah. That is it, guys. Let me think for a second what else is cooking up on this channel while we're here. I am going to be reviewing the Street Fighter hardcovers, the first 3. I'm not going to be reviewing the series in single hardcovers, because that would take too long. And unfortunately, if you do a volume 1, a lot of people watch your videos, and if you do a full series review, a lot of people watch your videos. But if you do volume 1, volume 2, volume 3, volume 4, etc., the audience lowers, because not everybody's going to be up to date with those books. So you're only going to get lesser views with people that have actually read the material. So with Street Fighter, what I'm going to do is I'm going to review the first 3, which is Street Fighter Classics, the hardcovers, those three into its own series. And then I have here, this is a little sneak peek of my haul. I have here with me Street Fighter 4 Volume 1. It's, I don't know why they labeled it Volume 1 because it's just one book. This is going to be a separate one, and then I do the, I think it's Unlimited series or Super Street Fighter, one of the two, which is two books. I'll do that in one video, and then the Unlimited, which I think would be Part 5, or Street Fighter 5. Those are three books, and I'll cover that in one. I do plan on getting eventually the Darkstalkers stuff, so I can then get Street Fighter versus Darkstalkers. It's a whole mess, but I'm going to try and do videos for all that because I love Street Fighter. It's my favorite fighting game, even though I'm terrible at it. I'm terrible at all fighting games. I'm going to try and do that. Hayden, the main bad guy spoiler is what intrigued me. I mean, yeah, it's not. I could see a lot of people being upset if they found out about that spoiler, but it's not that massive where you're ruining the whole series because you're just learning about his motivations and how conniving and sadistic the character grows through time. He starts out from a very idealistic place, and it just gets more perverse because he is commanding things and he's sort of shaping the destiny of so many characters from behind the scene. And it really does fit his theme of creating puppets and being a puppet master, which I thought was fantastic on Bill Willingham's part in writing that stuff. So I do hope you check it out and you get that compendium, because again, I'm not a huge fan of compendiums, but if that's the only route, go for it, man. I am not opposed to doing that. I don't collect all the omnibus and all the oversized hardcovers. Yes, they look nice, but if I already have a series and then I have to upgrade, I'm not going to go through the trouble. For example, if they suddenly announced an omnibus or something like that, I'd be fine just keeping this. I'm not going to go through all that hassle of upgrading collected editions. So with Fables, unfortunately, a lot of people are upset because they can't get the deluxe edition hardcovers. I was fortunate enough, I was getting them every time a new one was announced. I made sure to pre-order or order on that release date at InStock Trades or Amazon or whatever. So yeah. Let's see. Aside from Street Fighter, what else am I cooking up on this channel? Oh, there is a light novel that I'm supposed to be reading that was sent over from Seven Seas Entertainment. They sent a light novel that I really wanted to read. It is called At Night I Become a Monster. I have that I've had it for a very long time, over a month, and I've been so busy. So a light novel doesn't have illustrations, so it's just text, and that takes me longer to read than a graphic novel. So yeah, I'm going to try and get that out as soon as I can. So I'm doing that. I'm doing Street Fighter, and I'm just going to be alternating mostly between manga and anime. There are a couple anime that I'm watching that I want to make standalone reviews for, not so new series that I've watched. And look forward, because I might be doing this more often. I don't know if I'm going to be doing streams every Friday or not, but if it's not Fridays or Saturdays, I want to do like what do you call it? Like streams, but they're not really Q&As. I'm going to be talking more about anime and stuff, and maybe do like countdowns and top tier lists and stuff like that. I might have some guests from people that I know and love. They're going to be helping me out. They don't know as of this video that I'm going to be contacting them, so that's going to be interesting. But stay tuned. I will try and update the community tab when that is about to happen so that you guys can tune in. I'm planning on doing like top Shonen Jump titles of all time, or top anime studios, stuff like that. Countdowns. I like that, and debating. So for that, I do need to get more people, because I don't want to just keep talking for an hour debating with myself or the chat. It's good to have somebody here with me so we can talk about that stuff. So yeah, that's the current schedule as of this video for this channel. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you for liking, commenting, and just being a part of Week in Geekdom. It truly does mean a whole lot. I know I say that every single video, but it's true. I do mean it from the heart. I thank the all the wonderful people that leave comments. Sometimes you're down, and you read comments like the ones I get of very wholesome, nice people, and it just picks up my spirit, and it pushes you to keep going and make content on this channel. So thank you. It really does mean a whole lot. I truly do appreciate it. If you can, follow me on social media, although mostly I just do a lot of repost of news and stuff I found pretty cool. But you can check out my hauls on Instagram and on Twitter. I like to share a lot of news and quick opinions. So if you can follow me there, that'd be pretty nice. There's a merch link store down below for some We Can Geek Them shirts. I'm still working on making some anime-inspired merch, funny meme-like stuff, and related in parody to different anime. So I'm still working on that. It's going to take me a while because I'm not an expert on all that stuff. So yeah, just hang tight. And oh, let's see. I got more questions. John, are you or have you reviewed the Blade of the Immortal anime? I watched the first. I didn't watch the first series. I've been watching. Like last year, I watched the new anime adaptation of Blade of the Immortal, but I stopped at episode 5, and now I'm gonna start all over again and make a proper review of it. I don't have the manga. I've never read the manga, but I do want to review the anime because I was liking it. I know it's a lot of purists weren't too fond of it, saying they rushed through some things, but I don't mind. We'll judge it separately. So I'm going to do that. Don't worry about it. I'm going to cover that as soon as I can. Anime takes a while because you have to. I like to watch the whole thing. I know a lot of people, they'll watch, and I've read about this online. I'm not making this up. I've read that some people just watch one episode or the first one, they watch the middle one, then they go back to the last one, and they make up their own review based off what they hear from people and the plot summary. I'm not like that. It takes a while, and I think it's a 12 episode season or series. So I'm going to watch the whole thing and then make up a proper review because it's only fair that I watch the whole thing and give you my honest feedback on it instead of just I want to be a, what do they call it, an anime tuber or whatever, and just review everything possible so I get a lot of views and people following. That would be fantastic, but it wouldn't be true to who I am as a fan, a nerd first and foremost. So yeah, long story short, I am going to be watching that anime. Let's see. And man, I haven't seen anyone review the DMZ or Ex Machina compendiums yet. Pretty odd, as that would tell us how the Fable one might hold up. That is very interesting. I will do some research on that and try and find some reviews and share it on Omnibros. Not here, because I don't, the channel, even though I do talk about comics, I'm not getting as many collected editions as I once was. So the channel's mostly focused on anime and manga. So yeah, but I will find out about those books and report back on Omnibros Live over at the Omnibus Collectors Network. Jesse, thank you, my man. You know what? All of you guys that are here, you guys are awesome. John, Hayden, Gary, and man, if you don't mind, I am going to make all of you moderators for this channel, if that's okay. So if you see me live and you see a lot of people commenting and you want to edit some comments and block people, although my audience is fairly wholesome, so I don't think we're going to have to ban anybody. But as a treat to all of you guys, because you're awesome, I'm going to make every single one of you mods at A Week in Geekdom. So how about that? You get to share some of the fun. I don't do a lot of live streams though, so don't think you're going to be seeing a whole lot of me. because I'm mostly doing pre-recorded videos on this channel, and I leave the live stuff on Omni Bros. But whenever I do streams, typically they're going to be Fridays or Saturdays for this channel. It would be pretty cool if you guys would help me and be mods. So yeah, welcome aboard to the We Can Geekdom hype train. There are a couple other mods. I'm not going to say who they are, but they're not here tonight. But I do have a couple mods sprinkled throughout, so that's going to be fun. Hopefully, you guys don't mind me adding you guys. That seems like a lot of power, but power is good, right? Yeah. Hell yeah, man. I would, you guys are awesome. You are the true fans of this channel, and you make everything possible for me and motivate me to continue publishing content here. So I would be honored if you guys had mod powers on the chats. So I think next week I'm gonna try and do a secret, not so secret broadcast, and it's gonna be anime related with the tier stuff. I'm gonna really try and pull that together. And if it's by myself, that's okay, because you guys will be here with me. But I'll announce it soon on the community tab on the channel, just because I want more people tuning in live. I don't mind a low viewership, but I want more people here so we can engage and talk when it comes to anime. Another thing is that I made a second channel, and with this, I'm going to start closing this stream. I made a second channel that's all about video games. It's Geo's Arcade. I haven't posted much. I just put like 3 random videos on 3 different topics. But the idea is that I want to eventually do live streams about retro video games and play older games and go through catalogs of NES, Super Nintendo, hell, even freaking Atari games. I don't mind. Sega, Genesis, and Game Boy games. And I want to do some modern stuff, mostly with my Switch. I don't care about PS4 or Xbox, whatever. But with my Switch, I do want to stream some games. I'm going to work at it. I'm currently 99% done with getting all the PC parts I need. So I'm building a nice little machine. It's not going to play all the modern stuff. I'm not interested in that. I just want to replay the retro stuff. And the specs on it are sufficient where I can run older stuff like I want to say GameCube backwards, if that is enticing for you guys. So I do want to make that happen. I need to get the friggin' capture card so I can stream on the computer and all that stuff, because I think that would be pretty fun. So if you can subscribe over there, I'm going to try and film something soon for that, probably a Nintendo video collection, because I love Nintendo. That's my favorite video game company. So maybe I'll do a collection video on that. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, to summarize everything, Fables Deluxe Edition Book 5, fantastic. I am hooked on this series and intrigued. Volume 6 is all new territory for me. I cannot wait to continue the series and talking about it with you guys. Hopefully you tune in for that live stream. Keep watch on the community tab here on YouTube when I post the schedule for it. Thank you to my newly appointed mods, which I will do. I will add you guys as soon as I end the broadcast. And for everybody watching on replay, let me know what you thought of Book 5 and what I talked about with Fables. Very interested in finding out. Guys, I've got to go. Thank you all. Oh, that sounds great. Those games were my childhood, and I still own all my systems. That is awesome, man. I really, I'm going to do a video, like a home console collection tour thing. I don't know what I'm calling it, but look forward to that. The channel is Geo's Arcade. The link is in the description below and on the main channel page here on YouTube. Join, subscribe if you can. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I've got to go. I will catch all of you on our next video